Hi and welcome to another tutorial for learning on Meld. In this tutorial we're going to go through the basics of the MELDapp wallet and its interface. Hopefully this will give you guys a good overview on how the wallet works and where things are located in the wallet and why they're there. If you want, there's also tutorials on very specific functionality in the wallet, swapping, bridging, these types of things. Please take a look at those. And without ado, I'll go into it. So if you've already created a MELDapp wallet, then you're going to be confronted with this screen. This is the login screen. If I put in my password here, I'll get my basic interface will appear. Sometimes the interface will take a couple of seconds to load because it has to load in the basic data of the interface. Once it's loaded in, it'll load pretty fast on a pretty regular basis. So as a general kind of overview, you have a navigation at the top with the main sections: wallet, staking, supply, and borrow. In the top right corner, you have your personal icon and you have Wallet Connect. Over on the left-hand side, you have your assets list. Then on the right-hand side, you have details. This is basically a place where you can go and do things, and it'll also give you an overview of what is actually happening with your assets. And in the middle, you have an overview of, the amount of assets, the blockchains, the performance of the assets, etc. So to start with, if you want to bring assets in to your wallet, you'll go over here to the personal icon in the top right and click on that, and it'll give you a list of all your wallets. If you roll over them, you have a little copy icon where you can copy that. You'll see when you do copy it, it'll appear and show you that it has been copied. And then also in this navigation, you can connect either a MetaMask or a NAMI wallet, and you have profile and settings, which we'll get into in a minute. And then finally, you have the build version down here at the bottom. So starting here on the left-hand side, we have an All Assets button. So this gives you an overview of both the number of assets and the dollar amount of the assets that you have in your system. In some rare cases, the interface doesn't refresh. So we have a refresh button here that can force a refresh on the interface for whatever reason. Then below that, we have our assets list. These are all tokens, the typical kinds of tokens you're expecting: ETH, Wrapped Bitcoin, ADA, USDT, USDC. We support more than 2,000 different coins on the Meld blockchain, on Ethereum, on Cardano, on Avalanche. Then here at the top, this is a segmented bar, so it also shows NFTs. And so here it'll give you a list of all of your NFTs. And if you click on them, then you'll get some details about your NFTs as well. Here. So if we go back to assets, if you have assets that are in multiple blockchains like Meld, we'll click on this. It'll be highlighted, and then you'll see all the different assets. So here we have Meld on Meld. Here we have Gmeld on Meld. Gmeld is the gas token used for the Meld blockchain. And then we have Meld on Cardano. And as you roll over each of these assets, you'll also get some quick access buttons. So here we have send, we have receive, we have bridge, and we have swap. So you'll get these for almost all of the different assets, depending on what the assets are. So you'll see a bridge if you can actually bridge that asset. You'll get that details in there. So if I click on Meld, now I'm going to see how many Meld I have here in the center. I have $37,000 worth. If I click anywhere here, it's going to swap out the dollar amount as the primary for the asset amount as the primary. Also, you'll see here that it's Meld on the Meld network. So this is the ticker and this is the network that it's in. And then we have a graph. So this is a combination graph. So this is a graph of both the dollar amount and the quantity. So you can change the date period, and then the graph will change. So if we look here, so you'll see assets were brought in here, then they kind of sat there, and then some of the assets were sent out. So then here on the left-hand side, if I go back here, you'll have an overview of the asset. So here's the current price of the asset. Here's the 24-hour change of the asset. Here's the 24-hour volume of the asset and the total market cap. And then you can actually click or just roll over this and it'll show you the price over the past 24-hour period. Then we have the token contract. So here's the token contract for the MELD token on the MELD blockchain. You can copy it. You can go to MELDscan to find out more information, or it will also link you to Azomi. Here's the Azomi, which is the MELD DEX. Then finally, we have bridge. So the ability to bridge the MELD token to other chains. So MELD can be bridged to Ethereum and to Avalanche and to Cardano and back. And then we have wrap and unwrap. So what this is this will allow you to convert MELD into Gmeld and vice versa, convert Gmeld into MELD. This is a free transaction, doesn't cost any gas, and it's very, very simple and very easy to do. And then since I'm supplying MELD to the lending and borrowing protocol, I'm getting an overview on the risk factor of my asset, so I'm safe, the amount of yield that I'm getting on that asset that I'm supplying, and the borrow rate if I wanted to borrow it. So this is just a quick overview. You get some of these similar things if you click on all assets. So here it'll show my risk factor, supply and borrow, but in this case it'll also show the amount that I'm staking and what my average yield on staking is. So it includes staking as well. So now if we go down here, if we click on Ethereum, for example, you can see that I have ETH on MELD and I have ETH on ETH, and I can do these different transactions. If you want to know what tokens are supported on the MELD blockchain, you can click on supported tokens and it'll take you to a new page. That covers pretty much the interface for the wallet. We do have a common interface for most transactions, both inside of the wallet and when the wallet is connected via Wallet Connect. I can show you an example. So for example, let's say I want to send some MELD somewhere. I'll actually send some MELD to myself. So if I click on receive, here is my receive address. So I can either use the QR code with a mobile device and capture it that way, or I can click copy here, and again I copy it. So now I'm going to send myself some MELD. So I'll send 500 MELD. If you want to send the maximum, there's a maximum button down here. You can click on that and it'll autofill it. And you also have a slider. It'll jump to percentages. So for example, if I want to sell 50% of it, then that is 50% of it. But I'm just going to send 500. Then I'm going to paste my wallet account. It'll give you a green check mark if it's a valid address, both on Ethereum, Avalanche, MELD, and Cardano. And then it'll tell you what the gas fees are. So here's the gas fees. It's going to take 5 seconds or less. And it's going to cost us 0.00008 Gmeld. And then I click review, and it'll give me a summary of all the fees and what's actually happening so I can review it. And sending it, and it'll just take a couple seconds, and now it's been sent. So these assets have been sent. Now if I click on my record, this will show me the history of all my transactions in MELD, both in and out. So it'll have a little green plus if it's gone out, if it's come in, and it'll have a little minus if it's gone out. For bridging, it's the same thing. The only difference here is you can choose the different types of bridges. There's 2 different types of bridges. You have MELD and Chainport. So for example, if I go over here to MELD on Cardano and I click on bridge, you'll see that it'll default to the Akamon bridge, and it's going from Cardano to MELD. I can also click and send it to an external address that I put in here. But if I want to, I don't have very much MELD there, so I can't do anything with it, but it'll basically just give you the fees and the costs in ADA. You'll click review, and then you can send it. So all of the interfaces for transacting are in the right-hand side. They're consistent across all different parts of the interface. And then the majority of the transaction, or the way you kind of primarily interact with the assets, are going to be down here at the bottom in this action bar. So I hope that this was a useful description of the wallet interface for the MELDapp. Please join other tutorials, and we'll give you more details about how the MELDapp works in various different situations. Thank you.